welcome to my YouTube channel, Medicate with Movement. Today I want to talk to you about what a nasal cycle is and why you or I should care about a nasal cycle. So first let's just talk a little bit about the anatomy of the nose. The nose has two holes and they're called the nostrils. The nostrils and the nasal passages, right, and that piece that runs through the middle, that's a wall that separates the two nostrils. They become the nasal passageways. That's separated by something called your septum. And it runs deep inside your nose, close to the skull. It starts to turn from it starts out like as a very thin piece, and as it gets closer to the skull, it becomes very thin pieces of bone. The nose is the body's primary organ of smell, and so it also functions as part of the body's respiratory system. Air comes in through the nose, and as it passes over these specialized cells called the olfactory system, the brain recognizes and identifies smells. So at any given moment, one of your nostrils is more congested than the other nostril. The other nostril then is more open. And it switches back and forth throughout the course of your day. It happens day and nighttime. That act of it switching back and forth from congestion to more open, that's what's called the nasal cycle. This pattern of congestion and decongestion between the nostrils happens about every 2 to 3 hours. Day and night. At nighttime, it becomes a little longer, so maybe pushing closer to the 3-hour mark than the 2-hour mark. There are some variations between individuals, and also our stage of life cycle affects it as well. So things like if you're a little older, or so age affects it. Trying to think of some other things that affect it. Your lifestyle, your health, right? So all of those things affect the rhythm of how it changes in your life. So it will change throughout life. The nasal cycle seems to appear as a reflection of another rhythmic pattern in your body, and that occurs with your ANS. So the ANS has two branches. We've been talking about that. The PNS, your parasympathetic system, which is your rest and digest, and your sympathetic nervous system, the SNS, right? That's your fight and flight. And it seems to change their dominance from one side of the body to the other with the same frequency every 2 to 3 hours. So the way the body functions is quite different based on what side of the body has that sympathetic dominance. So during the day, we alternate between active states, sympathetic nervous system, and restful states, parasympathetic nervous system. And I do have some videos that go into the nervous system just a little bit more to discuss that with you. I think it's also important to know that the nose is kind of it's an open gateway right to the brain, and with it being a window to the brain, we have a risk of getting like virus and bacteria in there, right? But that's what our nose hairs do. Our nose hairs help to filter out some pollutants. And then as it comes through the nasal passages, it goes by the tear ducts, so it humidifies the air, and then makes its way down into our lungs. So I know that there's this thing to get rid of all body hair, but body hair does serve some purposes, and so just understanding that a little bit. So let's just talk about right sympathetic dominance. So when I say right sympathetic dominance, I'm talking about the right nostril being dominant, the right lung being dominant. It's a more active state. The locomotor activity is increased. Heart rate, blood pressure, respiration, body temperatures, cortisols have all increased as well with right sympathetic dominance. prolactin secretion, testosterone, endorphins, those have decreased. So if you're breathing through the right nostril, sympathetic dominance, those are things that are happening there. So let's talk about the left sympathetic dominance. That means that the left nostril is dominant, the left lung is dominant, we're in the rest and resting state. Locomotor activity's gone down, things like heart rate, blood pressure, respiration, body temperature, cortisol, those have all been reduced. Prolactin secretion's gone up, and testosterone and endorphins have gone down. So if we're looking at this through a yoga therapeutic context, the energy balance is affected by the flow of energy along three major channels: Ida, Pingala, Sushumna. And those are nadis, right? And so we can think of nadis as electrical conduits of energy that run through the body. So we've talked about Pingala being the solar channel. It's heating, it's masculine, it's right nostril. So if we need to heat up the body or get that solar channel going, being a little more active, we can breathe in through the right nostril. Ida, which is that lunar channel, cooling, feminine, kind of the left nostril, we'd be breathing in and out through the left nostril. So if we need to bring the body temperature down, let's say before we're going to do a video and we're nervous, I could do some left nostril breathing. Or I'm in the middle of my life, if I'm having a hot flash, I could do some left nostril breathing to cool my body. Sushumna nadi is the two sides are balanced. So if I have Pingala, Ida, Sushumna, right, coming up, kind of balancing that. So when things are balanced, it allows that third nadi to rise from the center and travel all the way up towards my head, which gives us that samadhi or eternal bliss is achieved sensation that we're looking for. So when there's not enough heat in the body, I would take my finger and close it just underneath the cartilage. So there's kind of usually a little divot in the nose there. I could close that off, and I would inhale through my right and then close off the right and exhale through the left. So I'll do that again. You'd inhale through the right and exhale through the left. When there's too much heat in the body, I would inhale through the left, switch, exhale out the right. Inhale through the left, exhale out the right. So remember, the nose is a window to the brain. Your nose may provide a direct path from the environment to the brain, while your olfactory nerve is sitting there kind of sampling the air that's coming in. So I hope that answers some questions on what the nasal cycle is and why you would want to care about your nasal cycle. Thank you so much for sharing my life's passion. It's a pleasure to do these with you. Thank you so much.